One Piece chapter 1131. I can't believe I've actually read this many chapters of this story. But the cover story, I mean, I'm not gonna say much. I'm not a huge fan of this cover story. Hasn't been super interesting to me. But it's cool to see what's her name? I think Speed or something. the horse girl, whatever. But decent cover story, but start of the chapter is what I'm really interested in. The first panel I love a lot. The photo I have of this says alright, but I also read another translation where Luffy's yelling finally. But I mean, that's basically how me and pretty much every single One Piece reader feels. Like, finally, we're at Elbaf. And that panel is really nice to see, I guess, from that standpoint. And then one more thing, since this is my first video about One Piece, I'll point out some stylistic art things. If you look at this circle on Luffy's hand, just hands in One Piece are generally like massive. We get to see Luffy and Loki talking, and Luffy's basically super excited that he's finally made it to Elbaf, and he's just rambling, and Loki's like trying to get a word in, but he can't because Luffy's just so excited. And eventually, Loki lets out like a huge yell. We get this cool one-point perspective panel where he's like shaking all the trees across the mountain. Did you get some reactions from the wolves and deer, whatnot, and the I guess what's it called? The realm of the dead. That's what they called that. Yeah, that's the chapter title too. Look at that panel again. I marked the perspective or the vanishing point. I mean, just a simple one-point perspective, but I mean it really works, and it shows the scale of like how far he can yell, because like Loki's a giant, but he looks super small in this panel. So just thought I'd put that out. But Loki begins to talk, and he's saying he's the legendary sun god who's been talked about in legends throughout the years of Elbaf. And on this panel where he's saying that, we also get the reveal that Loki has a bounty, and that bounty is 2.6 billion berries. So that puts him like pretty high as far as like pretty much everyone goes. Like, not many people have a higher bounty than him. It also says special bounty, which I'm not sure what exactly that means. Maybe it's like Sanji's bounty that one time, where Judge, he made it so it was only alive on the bounty. Maybe that's what it means. But if I had to throw like a shot in the dark, I'm thinking maybe the special bounty is like special because it's not issued by the government, like the world government, I mean. That could be it. Probably not, but that's just my, I guess, wild shot in the dark for that. Also, like, all these scenes with Loki and Luffy are like incredible. The aura is off the charts. Like, Luffy just looks legendary, and I can't even like tangibly explain why. Just the setting, maybe, like it's snowing and all the chains and whatnot. I can't really pinpoint why, but these scenes I really like. But Loki says, or he asks Luffy, what do you think of my situation? And Luffy's like, well, it looks like you're caught. And Loki, it just basically glazes him, and he's like, wow, you're so smart. Of course I'm caught. And Loki says he's been here 6 years. And while we're looking at this panel, I want to point out, look at the teeth of Luffy and Loki. You can see like Luffy's teeth are like one solid block, and Loki's teeth are all individually outlined. That's just a common tool. Like, the more detailed the teeth, the creepier a character looks, basically. So you'll see protagonists like Luffy a lot of times, which is block teeth. Then Loki in this case has like detailed teeth, which make him look creepier. I mean, same thing with Blackbeard, and same thing with like most like villains in most stories, honestly, most manga. But we get another reveal as Loki says the tree he's tied up to is the treasure tree Adam. So Yggdrasil is the treasure tree Adam. I mean, I think most people assumed that, but it's cool to finally get confirmation that like Yggdrasil is the treasure tree atom, and the Sunny is kind of gone full circle. And we actually see the Sunny later on in the chapter. But the panel right after that I really like, with Luffy just like laying down casually, and Loki says, "Hey, you want to make a deal?" And Loki says to Luffy, "Hey, if you break my chains and set me free, I'll wipe out any pirate crew you want." And Luffy's just like, "Huh? What do you mean?" And then Loki goes into some more exposition, which is kind of funny, and with another reveal from Loki that the lowest layer is the realm of the dead, and that's where they are. And Loki mentions all these goons he has, these massive animals and these humans that work for him. Like the first double page spread with all 5 of the monsters is sick. And I really like how Luffy's like, wow, this is nostalgic, because he's obviously thinking back to training of Rayleigh with all the big monsters there. I mean, it's just a great looking panel. Nothing too crazy, but it's awesome. Also, the humans who work for Loki remind me of Princess Mononoke. Like some characters in that movie used like, I think, boar skins to like basically sneak around, and like basically the same concept, so the animals wouldn't hurt them. And I know for sure Oda is a big fan of Hayao Miyazaki, and like he takes a lot of inspiration from his stuff, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But we get the next double page spread back to back, and we see Luffy has tamed all the giant animals, and this scene's really great. And we get to see Loki become really impressed, because like he realizes Luffy's actually pretty strong. But Loki, being like kind of like the wise trickster he is, he realizes Luffy's friends with Shanks. So Loki badmouths Shanks to try and like goad Luffy into attacking him. And Luffy does attack him, but he doesn't attack the chains. He goes straight for the face, and Loki dodges it. The humans go crazy. The animals are still chilling. There's this really funny reaction panel where with 3 of the giant animals looking at Luffy as he drops down after he tried to punch Loki. And the face on the mammoth is hilarious. But even like, it's just really funny in my opinion. But Loki runs it back, and he's like, "Wait, I was just joking. I was joking." And then he's thinking to himself, "Man, I'm gonna kill Luffy if he breaks me free." And then Luffy is like, "So why did Shanks come here? Blah blah blah." And he's trying to give information or get information from Loki, but Loki naturally says, "Well, I'm not gonna give you any information for free." And then the scene cuts, and that's all we see from the 2 of them this chapter. But we cut to the group of Straw Hats on the wooden bridge, and Nami's yelling that like the bridge is shaking like crazy. And Usopp's like, "We're gonna die." But there's this cool panel of Usopp looking through binoculars, and you can see a road in the distance running towards the Straw Hat. And it's like, oh, that must be the guy who's pretending to be the sun god from the diorama, because he's on fire. Because Nami struck him with lightning, or maybe not on fire, smoking or something like that. Or yeah, they just say it looks like he was struck by lightning. But we see a lot of really cool panels of the wooden bridge. I think Oda definitely just felt like drawing a giant like wooden bridge, because every single panel with the bridge, this chapter and the one previous, has been super cool and just different angles. The panel of what's his name? Not Stanson, but Goldberg. The panel of Goldberg from the New Giant Warrior Pirates holding up the Sunny is really cool, chasing after Road. And then this panel of the small group of Straw Hats is really cool. I think this panel is using a 2-point perspective. One of the vanishing points is definitely towards the top right of the panel, where Road is. You can see all like the lines in the background pointing towards it. And then if you look at the blue lines here, I made an outline of Sanji's like body in perspective, the box he fits into. The one on the right side point towards the road. And then if you look at the green lines, I just made some rough sketches of where I think the vanishing point on the left is, It's way off the page, and I don't think it's exact. I think Oda kind of just eyeballed it because it doesn't line up perfectly. But there's definitely, in my opinion, I think there's definitely like a second vanishing point towards the top left, way off in the distance, which all the pieces of the bridge are pointing towards. Anyways, we cut over to Haruden and Stanson. They've just killed a moose that they're gonna feed the Straw Hats with. Then, I guess while we're here, another great example of large hands in One Piece is Haruden right here. Like his fist, his right or his left fist is literally bigger than his face in this panel. It's not bad, it's just unique. We get a fun little dialogue about like, man, this moose is too big, how are we gonna get it up the mountain or whatever. And then there's a little short summary of the new giant warrior pirates, and then what happened with Haruden working for Doflamingo, blah blah blah. And then it's cool to see, I guess it's cool to see the rest of the new giant warrior pirates in this arc. I assume they'll probably become a bigger part of the story as the story reaches its end. They'll probably be in the final war somewhere. They're fighting some lesser important villain. But anyways, we cut to the Great Eric, I think is the name of the ship that they're on, with the rest of the Straw Hats. And they're talking about how Brick has cut Robin's hair. And then we get a cool panel with like a Brook making a joke. We see Jinbei, Frankie, Robin, Bonnie, and Lilith. And Brook's face in this panel is really funny, and he's holding a pair of scissors. And then we get the panel of Robin. And this panel of Robin, I mean, this panel is just a great panel. And she's back to her pre-time skip haircut. And Oimo and Kashi said, Oimo and Kashi have a fun reaction where they say, "Oh, this is the hairstyle you had when we met you." And then the second panel of Robin I like a lot, like even more than the first one. The first one's great, but this one's like crazy. I don't even know why. Like that one's just another like intangible, unexplainable, cool. Like I don't know. I just like that panel a lot. And we get to the last couple of panels for this chapter as the Great Eric is making its way, finally reaching Elbaf. We see some like off-screen someone going, oh, this is bad. And we realize it's Saul, and he's collapsed and he can't get up. And man, my only reaction is, please Oda, don't do this. If Saul dies before they meet, I might implode. I don't even know what I would do. Like if Robin doesn't get to meet Saul after all this build-up, like I might lose my mind. This would be the most insane thing I can imagine. I would never imagine Oda doing this. So I really hope this is not the case. But I mean, if it is the case, I guess Oda surprised me and probably most people, because I wouldn't have guessed this ever. But I really hope Saul's fine. I bet he probably is. I can't imagine him dying. Like that'd be crazy. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe Robin meets him and then he dies like right after. Who knows? But I don't think there's a break next week. Really excited for the next chapter. Didn't do like too much art analysis. Nothing really caught my eye that much. I mean, the double page spreads were awesome, but they're kind of hard to analyze, at least in One Piece, because like a lot of Oda's double page spreads, they're super cool, but they're kind of like not in perspective. At least a lot of them. A lot of them are kind of like just placing like not super detailed backgrounds with giant like figures. I mean, that can be seen in the one with Haruden and Stanson, and then also the one with the like both the double page spreads with all the giant animals. But overall, really like this chapter. I'll probably review the next one. Kagurabachi chapter coming out tomorrow, I think. I'll review that chapter probably. And that'll be fun. I'm thinking about doing maybe like I want to read Dawn to Dawn, and what I've thought about doing is I'll read through one volume and then I'll like select some of the art I like the most and the paneling I like the most and analyze it and talk about it, while also talking about bits and pieces of the story. Not all the story, just bits and pieces I like. So not really a full story review, just going through some of the art while talking about the story while I read it. So I think I might do that. Depends. I got a lot of stuff I want to do, so who knows what I'll do first. But yeah, that's the chapter. That's the video. Please play Quake Champions if you're interested. It's free on PC. It's the game in the background. And yeah, I guess see you. Peace out.